You want to hear a story about revenge? Real bone deep cold as a mountain stream. Revenge? Okay, let's start with this. My neighbor Karen killed every single one of my koi. 15 years of work, thousands of dollars, and honestly the last living thread tying me to my daughter. She wiped it all out, and what I built to make her pay for it was so perfect, so perfectly disguised, that when she finally triggered it, even I was shocked at how brutal it was. You ever have someone just pick at you every single day until you feel like you're about to come apart? That was Karen. For 6 months, she chipped away at the one thing that kept me sane after I lost everything else. When I finally caught on that her attacks weren't random, that she was doing it to break me on purpose, I realized I wasn't just dealing with a nightmare neighbor. She was actually evil. Now tell me this, when somebody destroys something irreplaceable, do you get to destroy them back? Or does that just make you exactly like them? I still don't know the answer. So Karen moved in 8 months ago. You ever meet someone and just instantly know you're not going to get along? First words out of her mouth as the moving truck's rolling away. "What's that smell coming from your backyard?" I told her. "It's my koi pond. Got a filtration system." She crinkled her nose like I'd told her I was running a septic business out back and said, "Well, I hope that's not going to be a problem." With a tone that made it clear, yeah, it was already a problem. Look, I'm 41. I've lived in this house 16 years. I'm quiet, keep to myself, pay my taxes, trim my hedges. And that pond, that's been my project for 15 years. Started as a little thing, 500 gallons. Over time, I built it up. 30,000-gallon ecosystem, waterfall, custom filters, Japanese maples. And 15 championship koi, some worth $3,000 a pop. My daughter Lily helped me build that first pond when she was 7. She used to name the fish, sit with me, feed them. When she passed leukemia 4 years back, that pond was all I had left. It's where I went to feel like she was still here somehow. Of course, Karen didn't know any of this. She didn't know those fish were all I had left of Lily. Truth is, I doubt she'd have cared. Because 2 weeks after she moved in, her complaints ramped up from annoying to straight-up hostile. She started with the waterfall. Claimed it kept her up at night. I mean, come on, the thing sounds like a spa, gentle soothing. She'd bang on the fence at 11 p.m., screaming about water noise pollution. I've never even heard that term before. Then it was the smell. Insisted the pond stank when anyone with half a brain knows a clean koi pond doesn't smell. She called the city's health department. An inspector came, poked around, shook his head, and told her she was wasting city time. My pond was cleaner than most swimming pools. After that, it was property value. She went door to door telling neighbors my pond was driving down home prices, that we should petition the HOA to ban water features. Most folks thought she was nuts. A couple even asked me for pond building tips. But every time she failed, Karen just got angrier. Like it personally offended her that something made me happy. And I'd catch her standing at our shared fence, just staring at the pond, eyes hard-mouthed tight. It got under my skin. But I didn't realize how far she'd go until she crossed a line nobody should ever cross. About 3 months after she moved in, I came home one Tuesday, and my pond water was cloudy off color. Strange, since I'd just tested everything that weekend. I checked again, the pH was shot acidic as hell. 3 of my smaller koi were already belly up. One of them Sunny, my daughter's favorite. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I did an emergency water change, tried to save the rest. While I was pulling debris from the skimmer, I found a bottle muriatic acid, the stuff for pools. Not from my shed. I glanced up at Karen's house, saw her curtains move. Someone was watching. I knew she'd done it. But proving it, different story. She could say the bottle blew in, or that I was making wild accusations. I called the cops anyway, showed them the bottle, told them what I knew. The officer's face said it all. "Nothing we can do, sorry." They told me install cameras, which, let's be honest, is the police's polite way of saying you're on your own. So I spent $800 on cameras. Every angle of my backyard covered. I made sure Karen saw them too. Figured she'd back off now, right? For about 6 weeks, nothing happened. I started to think maybe I'd scared her off. I let my guard down. That's the mistake she was waiting for. Late October, I had a work trip 4 days. I left the pond on auto feeders and asked Phil, a retired guy 2 houses down, to check in. Saturday morning, I get a call from Phil. He says, "I'm so sorry. Something's really wrong with your pond." My stomach just drops. Phil sends photos. The water's white cloudy, just wrong. All 12 of my remaining koi dead. 15 years of work. Gone. And I'm stuck 300 miles away staring at photos on my phone. I checked the camera, scrolled back to Friday night. And there she was. Karen climbing the fence at 2 a.m., dark clothes bag of bleach bottles. Poured them in, climbed back out. No rush, no panic, like she was watering plants. I called the cops before the footage even finished playing, sent them everything, begged them to charge her animal cruelty, vandalism, trespassing, whatever. The fish alone were worth over $30,000. Police said they'd investigate. I filed my report, came home, found Phil had cleaned out the pond for me so I didn't have to see the mess. I appreciated it, but I didn't get to say goodbye. Didn't get closure. Monday, 2 detectives come by. I show them the footage. They agree it's solid. They say Karen's looking at charges: animal cruelty, vandalism, trespassing, destruction of property. For the first time, I think maybe justice is coming. But here's where everything gets twisted. The detectives go to arrest Karen, but they're in her house for over 2 hours. When they come out, Karen's not with them. One detective knocks on my door and asks, "Did you know Karen has stage 4 pancreatic cancer, less than 3 months to live?" I'm floored. He explains chemo, heavy meds, cognitive side effects, aggression, confusion. Her husband showed records, apparently. And suddenly my neat black and white story turns into a moral swamp. The DA might not prosecute. Nobody wants the press nightmare of jailing a dying woman. I start to remember she did look sick sometimes, pale, frail ambulance at her place once. But I'd written it off, too focused on protecting my pond. The detective tells me we're still investigating. But you should know things may go a different way. 3 days. That's how long I sit stewing, angry about my fish, but now guilt, confusion, second-guessing everything. Then the DA calls me in for a meeting. I walk in and there's Karen, her husband, their lawyer, a victim's advocate, and an ADA. They offer her a deal. She pleads to a misdemeanor, pays restitution, does counseling, stays away. Given her diagnosis, jail is pointless. She probably won't live that long. Karen's lawyer gives a speech about compassion and remorse. And Karen? She catches my eye and smirks. A tiny, quick flash, but it's there. My blood runs cold. Suddenly I know. The cancer story and act. Karen's orchestrated this entire drama, and there's nothing I can say. If I accuse her, I'm the monster bullying a dying woman. Her husband's propping her up, the advocate's giving me be the bigger person eyes. I mumble that I need time to think. They give me 3 days. Walking out, Karen says in her weak voice, "I'm so sorry. The medications confuse me. Hope you can forgive me." But her eyes, they're daring me to challenge her. And I realize she's betting I won't risk my reputation accusing a cancer patient. But things don't add up. No hair loss, no major physical symptoms except what's easy to fake. That night I replay the video of her poisoning my pond. She's climbing a 6-foot fence, agile, not someone weeks from death. So I dig deeper. I wait till they leave one morning and I trespass, her method, not mine. I search their trash. Real chemo, drug bottles, appointment cards, even hospital wristbands. Maybe I'm wrong. But then crumpled receipt for theatrical blood and stage makeup. Why would a terminal patient need that? I call the oncology center listed on the card. After 3 tries, a receptionist confirms Karen's a patient. Appointments, scheduled, special accommodations. That should be enough. But the whole thing still stinks. Day 2. Phil stops by looking troubled. Says he saw Karen doing yard work full of energy days before my trip. Didn't think much of it, but after hearing about her condition, he's got doubts. I ask if he'd testify. He doesn't want to get involved, doesn't want to risk being wrong. I get desperate. Next Tuesday, when she's supposed to be at chemo, I follow her. She drives right past the oncology center out to a luxury spa. 3.5 hours later, she comes out relaxed and glowing. She's been using her treatment time for spa days. But even this, she could explain away wellness therapy, quality of life. I need real proof. I fake an email as a medical records clerk, no dice privacy laws. Only person who'd know for sure, her husband Robert. But getting into his computer's felony territory, and I'm not risking that. That night I see Robert and Karen arguing through their window, shouting something thrown. He storms out. 10 minutes later I knock on her door, figuring if I don't try, I'll regret it. Karen answers, makeup smeared, red-eyed. "What do you want?" I say. The truth. She lets me in. Downs a glass of wine, then says, fine. I never had cancer. The whole thing's fake. I've been pulling off this con for 7 months. I can't even speak. She goes on, she discovered Robert was stealing from his company, threatened her, showed her a gun, said he'd kill her if she went to police. The cancer story. Her shield, her ticket out. Sympathy, protection, cover for escaping him. I ask, so why poison my pond? She laughs bitter. Because you were there. Because watching you care for something made me furious about my own life. It was the only thing that made me feel in control. She's drunk, spiraling. I ask her to repeat it for the camera. No way, she says. Why would I confess to crimes on record? She shows me a USB drive evidence against Robert. Claims she was going to send it to the feds once she vanished. If you expose my fake cancer, you'll blow my timeline and get me killed. So are you going to take the deal and let me finish, or will you ruin everything just to get revenge for some fish? Before I can answer, we hear Robert's car outside. Karen panics, hustles me toward the basement. Robert walks in, sees us, asks in this cold, flat voice why his neighbor's in the house. Karen instantly plays the dying wife. Robert softens, helps her to a chair, makes tea, then he turns to me. Let's settle this now. He offers double restitution if I accept the plea. I say I need 1 more day. He gives me a deadline, Friday, 5 p.m. After that, legal process takes over. I leave and through the window see them arguing again. I don't sleep. All night I wonder who's lying. Is Karen in real danger? Is Robert innocent? What about the USB? Does it even exist? At 3 a.m. I make a decision. I'm rebuilding the pond. But this time it's not just for koi. I'm building a trap. 3 days I design a new system. From above looks normal, a beautiful pond. But I rig pressure-sensitive platforms hidden beneath stones that collapse under more than 50 pounds. Underneath a drop to a deep section, 8 feet slick tile. Impossible to climb out alone. Pond's finished in 2 weeks. Karen watches construction, face unreadable. I see her at the fence sometimes, and I wonder if she's planning another attack. Tuesday, 2:17 a.m., security alert. Karen climbing the fence again, carrying a bag, probably bleach. She circles the pond steps on the platform. It collapses. She falls in, splash, echoing in the night. The bleach bottles fly out of her hands. She can't get out, keeps slipping on the tiles, yelling. I wait 5 minutes. Then I come out, porch light on flashlight, playing dumb. Who's there? I'm calling the police. Karen's in the pond, furious, embarrassed, trapped. Oh my God, Karen, did you fall in? What are you doing here? She can't admit she was trying to poison the pond. I call 911. Firefighters pull her out. She's freezing, exhausted, humiliated. Police see the bleach bottles, check the footage, caught red-handed. They ask if I want to press charges for trespassing and attempted vandalism. I say yes, absolutely. Suddenly, Karen's plea deal is dead. She's facing new charges with video evidence, and nobody's buying the medication confusion story now. But here's the final twist. Next morning, detective calls me in. Robert had reported Karen missing. She never came home after the incident. Cops found evidence, fake medical docs, make up a journal mapping out her plan. The USB drive, not evidence against Robert. It's proof that Karen had been stealing from her own mother's estate for years. The cancer story, cover for elder theft. Plan B, fake her death and disappear. They found Karen 6 hours later at the airport, fake passport, $300,000 in cash. Charges stacked: fraud, elder abuse, animal cruelty, trespassing, vandalism. Robert filed for divorce. Turns out he had no idea about any of it. Just a regular guy married to a sociopath. It's been 2 months. I'm standing in my backyard watching new koi swim in my rebuilt pond. Karen's in jail. My trap worked. The pond's better than ever, but the old fish are gone, especially Sunny, Lily's favorite. Sometimes I wonder what Lily would say about all this, her dad building traps, getting revenge. I like to think she'd get it that sometimes protecting what you love means fighting for it, even if it's not pretty. Pressure plates are still there. Because Karen might be gone, but I'm not risking it again. If anyone else tries to mess with what I've built, they'll learn the same lesson: actions have consequences. So you tell me, does that make me a bad person? Did I go too far? Or is this just what happens when quiet people finally get pushed past their limit? Have you ever had to deliver your own justice? Drop your story below. I want to hear it. Because sometimes the world only listens when you speak in the language of consequences.